Hello there, sword friends. Today I'm going to try and answer a question that I get quite a lot, and that is, what do I do with the broken bits of swords after I'm done with my metaphorical testing? And it's a question I get often enough, so I figure it's probably interesting to a few of you, and I'm also thinking about making some changes, and I'd appreciate your feedback if you're interested in giving it. So this is a talkie head video, a channel update kind of thing, and if you're not interested in it, it's a good time to tune out. What I will do, though, is I'll first cover what I did in the beginning with the swords, how it changed over time, other things that I've done, and maybe then get into what I plan on doing in the future or thinking about doing in the future. So what I did at the beginning, I really wanted to break swords and share the experience. I thought it'd be a fun thing to do, and I didn't think that the sword broken bits had any value. That was where I started. And pretty quickly I was espoused of that misconception, because right away people were asking me, after the first couple of videos, what are you going to do with the broken one? What are you going to do with the pieces? Can I have them? Can I buy them? And those things came up pretty quickly. And so I sold some of the broken bits that I got early on, and became acquainted with this weird feeling that has persisted with me after a decade of doing this, and that is, I feel really weird about having any money that's generated from stuff a vendor sent me. Now, I'm not bothered when people support me on Patreon or YouTube memberships or Super Chats, or if people lend me stuff to review or give me stuff to review. If it's an individual human being interaction, that's one thing. But when there's a company doing it and there's some skin in the game, it makes me feel weird to have income generated or money generated from that kind of thing. Income is maybe dubious, but anyway, makes me feel weird. And that's not to say that anyone who does it differently than me is bad. There are creators that get samples and then sell them, or use them as props, or keep them or collect them or whatever, and I don't doubt their objectivity. I don't think less of them as people. It's just my own weird hang up. So I'm not trying to say anyone needs to do it differently than me, and that maybe I'll be doing it differently. That's a little foreshadowing for the end. So anyway, I found out that they had value, and so I sold some of them initially. Felt weird about it. I still do sell some of them or trade some of them, which is akin to selling. That's another thing that I guess will happen. So what other things happen? I'm in that middle part now. I would trade some of them every now and again for either services or other things that I could use on the channel. And to note that, like, in the totality of services and money that I've made from selling broken bits of swords, it hasn't equaled an amount that would buy the camera that I'm filming this content on. It wouldn't buy the lens for the camera that I'm filming this content on. So it's not a huge amount of money, but it is an amount of money, and so it's worth noting that it's there. Other things that I would do is every now and again I will fix them. It's pretty rare, but I do actually have an example. I lied. There's a little sword content on here. This was the Quinn Waterfield Gununting. It was broken here. I sanded it down, reshaped it a little bit, and now it has this kind of drop tip camp, recurve slight camp knife thing going on, and it's a shadow of its former glory, but still a functional thing. I've done that maybe a handful of times, tried to fix them and make something usable. I've given some bits away too, so I've given some bits to creators that will make content with them, and that I really do find compelling. It's probably my favorite thing to do with the broken bits, is somebody that's going to take it, breathe new life into it, give it a new set of clothes or legs, make it usable, functional, enjoyable again, and then share that knowledge along the way. Those are the projects I think that I'm most compelled to give the broken bits out to. I've given them to people prepping for Forged in Fire that have some cool project in mind, but I do want to note that I get asked every day. There's a request for either give me free stuff or give me a free sword. You got a lot of them, give me one. Give me the broken bits, or can I buy the broken bits? It happens a lot. Most of the time the answer is no. Not only because it makes me feel weird to sell them, but I can also use them. So the other thing that I do, apart from sometimes give them away to other creators or people that have a cool project in mind or trade or sell, is I will use them as props on this channel, use them as visual aids. So if I'm doing sword on sword contact, having extra bits around is handy, because I can smack them into things and not destroy two swords at once by testing edge on edge contact. I can use one that's already broken. I can compare some of the hilt components and things like that for build quality or aesthetic design things as I'm doing comparison videos, which people seem to find more interesting than I thought. So having those visual aids around is actually pretty handy. And that's the other bit that I do, is use them in other bits of content. I also do have some little trophies and whatnot, so I keep some of the tips every now and again, or Suba, and I've thought about like sticking the Suba in, like, lacquered into a bar top or something like that. I thought that might be neat, but those aren't immune either. I've given some of the way. So a while ago, a creator reached out to me and asked if he could have some bits of swords, and I gave some of the tips from my trophy case, so to speak, because he was trying to work on polishing. Unfortunately, no content ever materialized from that, but I'll keep my fingers crossed, I suppose. Anyway, I do use them as props, and that's what gets me to what am I going to change. And it's really more of something I'm thinking about changing, and that is breaking less stuff. Now, I'm not thinking about killing the destruction element of my videos entirely. It will remain a staple of my channel, and I think there's some good information that comes out of it. Not all the time, but sometimes there are manufacturing issues that are exposed that wouldn't otherwise be without really aggressive testing. So I think there has been some value that's come from it, but that's a different topic. I do plan on continuing it, but just doing less of it. And I'll tell you, it feels weird. It's rare that I don't break a sword from a vendor. It's usually when I'm specifically asked not to do it. And in most of those cases, the vendor wants the product back, and I don't profit by it. But in a couple cases, I've kept them, and it's felt really weird. And now I'm thinking about doing that more. And it makes me feel weird. It's not lost on me either that the reason I get these samples is because people like you are watching, right? There are people out there that want to learn about swords. Enough of them have gathered up around this channel, and because of that, I get samples to test and share, and it's humbling and awesome, and I'm blessed by it. So I don't want to screw it up, right? I feel really weird about keeping things and making money. It's not that I think I can't be objective, but it makes me feel weird, and I want to crazy check myself with you. So if you have commentary about me breaking less of them, throw it down below. The reasons behind it, though, I suppose I should give that maybe before. One, more visual aids are helpful. The other day there was a question around, hey, can you compare and contrast a messer, the messers that I have from Sword Friend Ian, to a wakizashi? And it dawned on me that I don't have a wakizashi that I can cut with. It's a fair question and a comparison that might be fun to do, but I don't have the thing to do it. Now, I asked a couple companies if they'd send me some, and some are on the way. I'm blessed to have that option. But I didn't have any, and so my intent with the wakizashi that I'm going to get is not to break it and to keep it around as an example or a visual aid or a comparative tool, but it makes me feel weird. So again, I will continue to break stuff, but just not as much of it, not all of it. Further, I will say that there's a time constraint side of things. So showing a sword, using a sword, doing a review of a sword is one thing, but doing the destruction element of things is more time consuming. It takes more time, it's less predictable, it's less safe, and I need the right circumstances to do it, as where doing like a visual tour of things, doing light usage is much easier to film, much less dangerous, and I can get them out quicker. So I think I can make different content. I think I can make some interesting content that people have asked for, and I think I can do it in a way that will allow me to produce it more conveniently and frequently. So anyway, those are the reasons behind it. Hopefully that much is interesting to you. I'm genuinely interested in your thoughts. I feel really weird about it, though, and so I don't know if it makes you feel weird, too. Does it make you question my objectivity? Does it seem immoral or odd? Anyway, those are questions that I ask. I also want to note that in the future, I don't foresee it happening anytime in the next couple of years, but if I do get to a point where I have excess inventory and examples that I don't need, that I don't see logic in breaking, then I would be most interested in collaborating with other creators. Not specifically on YouTube, it doesn't have to be there, but if you are a creator and you can do something to share more knowledge, and further that you have a track record of doing it, because as I noted, I've sent some stuff out and content has not materialized. So if you have a good track record and you're creating content, then I'd be interested in, if I do get to a point where I have excess samples, collaborating and sending the sword out to the next creator who can do stuff with it and share knowledge and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, probably not for a couple of years, so don't be surprised if I don't get to that point in the near future. But if I do, that would probably be the avenue that I would use to get them out of the way. As I also noted, I'm very grateful that people watch this content and that it affords me the opportunity to bring some of these samples in and share them, and I'm grateful for it. And so one question that might dawn on a lot of you is, why don't you give them back to the community? Why don't you do sweepstakes or giveaways? And I'll tell you that I'm somewhat averse to doing that. And again, no disrespect to any creator who does that. I know there are content creators that I absolutely love that do giveaways and sweepstakes, and I wish them success. But to me, it feels it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to do. One, there are some legal things that come up that you may not be aware of when it relates to sweepstakes and giveaways. You can make people very unhappy if you do it wrong or you screw something up, and it's more drama and time and potential risk than I'm really comfortable with. So I don't mind giving them away. I don't mind other people being able to enjoy them, but I'm more inclined to keep them around as examples to share in future content, or to collaborate with other creators who can share knowledge and take that thing and make more content for more people to enjoy. I see that as the better avenue. So I won't be doing sweepstakes giveaways. That's not something I intend on doing. And a lot of it is the time and the risk involved. I would say that even if a vendor reached out and said, I'll give you 10 extra things so you can do a sweepstakes, I would decline the opportunity. I have no issue with somebody else doing it and sending you that direction to participate, but I don't see that as a good thing to do. I would love to give everyone a sword that wants one, but the legal ramifications and risk and other stuff involved in doing that is more than I'm willing to take on at the moment. And I don't want you to think that it's not because I'm grateful that people watch, and it's not lost on me that the community coming around here, congregating, watching my videos, and subscribing is the reason that I get to do it. It's not lost on me. I'm grateful and humbled by it, and I hope you understand the reasons that I don't want to do it, and I hope you still think that there's an ulterior avenue that you still may get some enjoyment out of them. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Hopefully that's helpful. Sorry about the crying baby in the background. As always, cheers and thanks for watching.